all of you out there in social media world. This is Brother Dana coming to you from, yes, you guessed it, Chicago. I want to give a special shalom to all of the Hebrew Israelites out there that are tuning in. Shalom to you, as well as a shalom to the rest of us who are being graciously embraced by the Most High Yah. Now that we have come into the truth of who the true chosen people are, and through our wonderful Savior Yeshua HaMashiach, we will now be able to truly worship you in spirit and in truth, the Most High Yah. So shalom, shalom. Tonight's video is one of my off-the-cuff videos. Again, these are videos that are kind of inspired through a current news story. It might be as I'm, worshiping and talking to the Most High Yah, He drops something into my spirit, I see something. But it's not like the other videos that I will be doing that are educational, where I do some research to begin to debunk the lies of biblical history as well as physical, secular American history. And so, like I said, tonight is one of those off-the-cuff videos. But before I go into it, as I have said, one of my desires is to share the beauty of our Black/Hebrew history that has never been taught, has been hidden, and now we know why it's been hidden, because the truth lets us know that it's actually not Black history, but it's Hebrew history, while in the confines of white supremacy here in the United States and across the world. But anyways, tonight I want to share about the first black cowboys. And it's very interesting that I found out that 1 out of every 4 American cowboys were actually African American or Hebrew. Many of the slaves or Hebrews that were in the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries were familiar with herding cattle due to their homeland work in West Africa. The Federation of Black Cowboys maintained the legacies of the black cowboys in America. And the reason we know that has to be is because along with that, Hollywood has given little to no attention to black cowboys, or have spoken about the mark they have made in Western history. We don't speak anything about the mark that Blacks/Hebrews have made at all. And some of the notable black cowboys are Bass Reeves, a Ned Huddleston, and a William Bill Pickett. So that is a little tidbit of what I call beautiful black history. So on to what I wanted to talk about, and that is time to re-indoctrinate. And I saw a posting, and then I saw a video on Facebook. Candy, a good friend of mine, she's really good at posting various things of interest. And this caught my eye. President Trump bragged about the border wall to a group of children at the Easter egg roll. And some of that you are probably not able to see. But I looked it up to make sure it wasn't some nonsense thing, but it looks like it comes from Time. And I want to play this and allow this to speak for itself, and then share with you why I am calling this time to re-indoctrinate.
Welcome to the 2019 White House Easter egg roll. This is 141 years that we've been doing this. I don't remember the first one, but last 3 years we've had an awfully good time. And I have to thank our First Lady. She worked so hard on this event, and without her, it would not be like it is. It's as beautiful as I've ever seen it. So, Melania, thank you very much. Fantastic job. Thank you, honey. I want to wish everybody a very happy Easter. Our country is doing fantastically well, probably the best it's ever done economically. We're setting records on stock markets. We're setting records with jobs, and unemployment numbers are the lowest they've ever been. 50 years in many groups, in historically the lowest numbers we've ever had. Regulations, low taxes. Our country has never done better. And do we love our military? Our military is literally being completely rebuilt.
Are you worried that your staff is ignoring your orders and will not report for training?
Nobody disobeys my orders.
Are you worried about impeachment, Mr. President?
I think a little bit. There's a young guy just said, keep building that wall. You believe it? He's going to be a conservative someday. Huh?
We're back. Woo! Whole lot of things going on. And the first thing, after I saw that, I heard indoctrination, re-indoctrinate. And indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. And so as I did some little bit of research, it said there's a battle kind of between what is education or teaching somebody something versus somebody indoctrinating in an individual. And so as I did some more reading, it says the political context, indoctrination is often analyzed as a tool of class warfare, where institutions of the state are identified as conspiring to maintain the status quo. The indoctrination in this country, and I'm going to prove that, has always been to maintain the status quo. And that status quo is that whites are superior, period. End of story. It doesn't matter if you are considering us in the religious realm, the biblical realm, or in the physical, natural realm. The status quo, at least in these United States, is whites are superior. And so specifically, this is taught in public education systems, and thus, again, is a reason for some of this. The police and the mental health establishment, these are commonly used. So then now this is when I was talking about that opinions differ on whether other forms of the government are less doctrinae or merely achieve the same ends through less obvious methods. I might have made a mistake there as I was going. But it says that the precise boundary now between education and indoctrination is when the indoctrinated person is expected not to question or critically examine the doctrine they have learned. So the difference between the boundaries of education or teaching somebody something versus indoctrination is that when the person that's being taught or indoctrinated is expected not to question or critically examine the doctrine they have learned. Us whites, have been taught to really never question. And it hasn't been by force, because I think the truth has been so, we've been indoctrinated with lies, that it's just now coming to the surface that some of these things that have been taught to us as Caucasians and Gentiles, as the Bible says, is coming to light. And so that also puts a fear in conservative, Republican, Christian Americans, because some of the Democratic white people are more liberal in moving away from that status quo that all white people are superior. And that's where at times you'll get this battle when I talk about our all white people prejudice. And the reason why I say yes to that is because even those that want to fight for your right as a white person still has no clue to what it will mean to not be the superior group of people. And none of us will know how we're going to react fully until we're in that situation. And that is why I say that, at those moments, our prejudice or our racism or white supremacy and white privilege and all that wrapped up is going to show its head. And so when you also looked at that video, and then I read this, the indoctrinated person is expected not to question or critically examine the doctrine they have been taught. Did you notice when the first question from the reporter to Trump, and I didn't make it all out, but Trump's response was, "Nobody disobeys my orders. Nobody disobeys my orders." And the second question was, "Are you afraid of impeachment or that?" And he said, "Absolutely not. He's not even thinking about it." And that might also be why he's reluctant in releasing things that they are asking him to release. So now I'm going back to re-indoctrinated. And where did the indoctrination begin? Well, when you look at the Willie Lynch letters, and I'm going to read some excerpts from that, you will begin to see the indoctrination. So Willie Lynch said this: "I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. So if we take 350 years, give them that, you understand why now that fear of the conservative party is rising up, because some of us, Caucasians, are leaving that status quo. And so again, that is why it is necessary that Trump and white America indoctrinates their own people. And so here he says, Willie Lynch, "I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes." So on the top of this list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slave lives in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, or south, has fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust, is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation. Respect or admiration. Sorry about that. But when I read that, it does something to me, because that's exactly what we have indoctrinated into the lives of you Hebrews. And we have caused you to fight. And I see that only because I'm an outsider. And when I came in, I never knew, we as whites have, weight of women and size of waist and stuff like that. But it's not to the degree of separation and making people, be absolutely worthless because of the color of their skin or the texture of their hair. And so I learned many of these things growing up in these last 25 years, living amongst my Hebrew brothers and sisters. And so when I read this, it just grabs me in my throat, because we've also put so much mistrust amongst you. And all of that is to keep you down. And so according to Willie Lynch, he then said, "A wild horse and a wild or nature N, black man, are dangerous, even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep." Now he's talking to my people, my Gentile Caucasian family members. So you cannot rest. See, they're sneaky. They sleep while you are awake, and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous. near your family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is breaking them from one. And so here you see the indoctrination that still exists in our country, that the black man is not safe, that the black man is a sexual predator unto the innocent white women. Right. So you also know that indoctrination has infiltrated the Bible, or the teaching of the Bible, in the form of Christianity. Number one, Jesus is white. Jesus is not white. Okay? He's not white. Easter and Christmas are not biblical. They are not even founded on biblical principles, but they are Christianity joining hands with paganism, with ultimately Baal when it comes to Easter, Ishtar, Nimrod. Do your research. And then we've also indoctrinated both into you Hebrews as well as myself, as in generations of Caucasians, how the Bible talks about the beauty of slavery, that we enslaved you and did you a favor because we took you from your wild state and from your wild, crazy gods, and we've civilized you underneath the Christian God, and slavery was a benefit to you. And so in that slavery, in Ephesians 6:5, we've been indoctrinated into your minds to obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. So now we indoctrinated you with this Christian faith to tell you that it is your life's duty to serve us as white people. That is your duty, and you need to do it with respect and fear. And do it with the sincerity of your heart. Because what you do to us, you do to our brother, Jesus Christ. Because we are like this. Yes, we are white superiors, and God of the Bible is a white supremacist. And so here you have President Trump indoctrinating the children, as I have put up here on this screen. And here indoctrination is the white way. You have Hitler. And this was a Hitler Youth members performing the Nazi salute at a rally in Berlin in 1933. And here you have President Trump telling the kids that the wall is a good thing, and that America has never ever been where it's been to this day. And yet my Gentile, Republican, conservative Christians have always told me that how jacked up the government and stuff is, it will take years and years and years to fix things. And now you're going to believe a man that in 2.5 years has almost walked on water. And so you may be questioning again, why then are we building the wall? And the simple answer is because we have enough slaves to do the work that will be needed to be done. We don't need any more outsiders to come and do the dirty work, because now it's time to re-indoctrinate both you as well as the Egyptians, the Americans, the Caucasian Americans, into white superiority. And so the jobs that we've been having, the outsiders, the Mexicans, and all of those other minorities doing, we don't need them to do it no more, because our prison systems are going to now provide the services to do that work. Because if you know, we have, as President Trump has said, we have basically enough animals in the United States to do the work. He has said the people trying to come to this country are like animals. And so anybody that represents or comes from any place around those countries must be animals. So therefore, we don't need more animals to do the work. We have enough. And that goes right back to Willie Lynch when he said that these wild horses or animals are of no value in their natural state. You got to break them. You have to indoctrinate them to believe who you are making them to believe, that they are less than you, they are inferior to you. And because some of even the Caucasian, Gentile, white American generation youth, some of them are straying away from that and realizing, no, now we got to indoctrinate that younger generation to build them up so that basically, like me, I'm a sellout. We won't have so many sellouts. So give me your thoughts on this, but I absolutely believe that indoctrination is the white way. And now we're at a place that we have to re-indoctrinate, because those 300 years that Willie Lynch basically guaranteed has kind of gone over by 100 years. And so we've got to draw back now, and we need to remind the slave who is the slave and who is the master. So thank you for tuning in. And to my Hebrew Israelites of black skin, I admire you for your strength and your ability to get back up over and over again. And that is why I always say that, the Most High is my all. But you have, for these past 25 years, been my inspiration, that wind beneath my wings, because many of you have never given up. And so who am I outside of being oppressed and disliked and hated and being treated unfairly? Who am I to give up? How dare I give up? What an insult to give up, when I live amongst a group of people that I have seen strength and resilience and beauty rise to the top under all occasions of oppression. And again, that is why I say that you are the wind beneath my wings. And it is an honor to serve the Most High by serving his people. So until we talk again, I want to say good night and shalom.